Hello and welcome to the Catch Lift Coaches Corner. I'm Tyler Gant and I'm joined by Catch Lift lead coach Melissa Luke.
Thanks, Tyler. This week we sit down with retired U.S. Marine Corps veteran Carnell Martin. Carnell, tell us about yourself.
Hey, good morning. First of all, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being on this morning. Hi, my name is Carnell Martin, retired Master Gunnery Sergeant, Marine Corps. Hoorah. 30 years of service, 3 different wars, 6 combat tours, 2-time gold medalist, Warrior Games, and Catch a Lift fitness coach. Thanks to Catch a Lift. It's been a blessing, it's been a dream of mine to be able to coach fitness and train military veterans. So thank you, Catch a Lift.
We're happy to have you, Carnell.
Glad to be here.
One of the heaviest hitters that are part of the Catch a Lift team, for sure. So as you mentioned, you are a competitor, a pretty successful competitor. What all have you competed in as far as sports go?
Well, Marine Corps, I was still a competitor in the Marine Corps. I played 17 seasons of Marine Corps football, had a couple college offers, but they couldn't guarantee me a retirement, so I took the retirement instead. As far as that, I competed in track and field, powerlifting, of course, basketball, baseball, you name it. I pretty much dabbed into it. Arm wrestling one time, I remember Marine Corps came up with an arm wrestling team. I said, sign me up. I'm in.
Very well-rounded then.
Yeah.
So let's talk about how you get through training for any competition in any sport. And it starts with setting a goal.
Right. That's a good question, Tyler. Yeah. Always setting your goals. I think the mindset of a competitor, I think it get you going, get you through. You know, as Marines, as soldiers, we go into battle. We have that mindset that, hey, we're going to destroy the enemy. And when you're competing, it's just the same thing. Hey, I'm going to destroy my competitor. I'm
Yep.
going to be the best I can be during that event or that time.
Better than you were yesterday and better than they are today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Always having that mindset, destroy anyone that's in front of you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. So, Carnell, let's break down, and talk about goals a little bit. A lot of our veterans at home, how do you approach if you're taking on, a veteran to coach? It's a new veteran. They don't really have any experience with goal setting. Kind of how would you walk them through it? What does that process even look like? If you're sitting here and I don't have a goal, what does that process look like?
Right. I would start the basics. I would find out what's its likes and dislikes, and let's say just regular lifting. You like machines, you like dumbbells, you like barbells, and just start from the basics. Start from the mechanics. I treat all my athletes like they never done it before, and just start with the basics first, and then work our way up from there. If you come in advanced already, and we're going to still go over the basics, and then we'll work up from there.
Nice.
So, what you mentioned, starting from the basics and the mechanics, and your likes and dislikes. One thing that I've always liked to do is, everybody's got their favorite thing in the gym and their favorite way to train. But do you see it as like you should absolutely implement things that you don't that the client doesn't like to kind of keep them changing up and keep them moving forward?
I would say yes. You definitely want to introduce them to different challenges, different techniques, because working out is it's evolving. You're always learning. I'm learning every day. Even as a trainer, I learn from other trainers. So you always learning. You're always keeping the body and the muscles guessing. You don't want to get stagnant. You want to grow. You want to keep those muscles to grow. You want to mix your workout, up a little bit and just get some different techniques from different minds, fresh
progression is
perspective.
everything.
Exactly.
We got a question from somebody in the chat. Emily Ballou wants to ask you, Carnell, how do you shake off the haze of being discouraged or coming out of a funk? Like maybe you're coming off a small injury or like this quarantine where you have to change everything about your training. How do you deal with that funk?
That's a good question. I would say just relax. Everyone's going to have a bad day. You're not the only one going through it. Look at it a different perspective. Do what you can do, not what you can't do, and I think that would keep you focused and keep you going, getting you back on track. Don't get discouraged. Stay focused. Have that mindset that it's going to be all right. I just had a bad day today.
I think that's something
back on track.
Something really important right now, to remember is to give yourself that space right now too. Like everybody's going through a lot of stuff, and just realize that there are going to be bad days, and unfortunately, sometimes they string together. But I think that like you're saying, Carnell, you hang in there and keep kind of when you have that goal at the other end. You can push through those bad days, because you're still giving that investment in yourself,
Exactly. I always look at it when I'm having a bad day. I don't look at it as a breakdown. I look at it as a breakthrough for the next day.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, and a lot of times, at least I know for myself personally, some of the best training times that I've had or training blocks has been kind of coming off of a funk or kind of, like Emily described, almost like a haze. Right. You go through these periods, you're kind of going through the motions, but you kind of get to that other end, and it really renews that spirit, and that love for the fitness.
Exactly. And especially in the time period we're in today, we're all in a funk, we just got to, look at our goals, keep the hope. And do what you can do. Keep moving.
Yeah. So you've had probably just as all of us have. You've had your share of injuries through the years competing, and had to deal with those and make your comeback. How do you deal with that? What is your MO on dealing with say mid-program injuries?
Wow, that's a good question, Tyler. I had many injuries. 2 shoulder surgeries, knee scope. I just learned over time. Listen to your body. Especially as service members, we push our bodies to the limit. There's no stop. We're invincible.
Yeah.
Until those injuries catch up, and as you get older, you're like, oh man, what is this? So I would say, listen to your body, take that break, and come back, day, 2 days, maybe a week, depending on the injury, and come back stronger. And proper nutrition too, the rest, hydrate, eating right, and what I learned, as I got older too, stretching helps a lot on injury recovery.
Yeah. That's what I've found in the last year or so is I've always been one of the people, I'm never going to do yoga ever.
Right.
Which I don't do yoga. However, I do spend a lot more time on the foam roller or just randomly stretching if I'm sitting at the house watching TV, doing whatever, for that injury prevention and that injury
and
rehab.
recovery. Yeah.
And the rehab.
Right.
And it's a very, very important thing. And really, I wish I would have been on it 5 years ago, 6 years
Exactly.
ago, when I was, when I was 20, instead of picking it up at 26, after, 6 years of strength sports.
Strength sport, exactly. Especially being a Marine. I mean, I remember there was times we just, jump out the rack and get in formation and go on a 5-mile run or doing crazy things, and without stretching or warm up.
Yeah, and then you gaff off the stretching and cool down at the end of the PT.
Exactly,
because you want to get to chow.
So that stretch is very important on recovery.
I think too. Question. Just to interject there too, and like Tyler, you brought up the foam rolling. So, a foam roller is a really nice piece of equipment that, you can get fairly inexpensively. If you guys use the VA, a lot of the times the VA, if you go to physical therapy, they will give you a foam roller. But my point that I was trying to get at with that, it's really easy to skip, or, you do it for a week and, you got other things you want to do. You guys are, watching TV at night or anything, if you're watching a 30-minute program, get down on that foam roller for 30 minutes, spend, 3 minutes on, go up, spend a couple minutes on your calves, get up to your hamstrings, your quads, and just work your body over during that 30-minute show, and try to hit that every day. But, if you skip your recovery and your mobility, you're just asking for trouble.
You're pre warm up. I mean, it's I think it's vital, any type of sport, any type of, even yoga. You want to stretch before you do yoga.
Right. You don't go in and you don't immediately sit into a deep stretch. Right. There's always a warm up. There's always a cool down. And
it's always a progression. It's always a progression. And yoga's a workout. Don't get that twisted. Like, that's what I always had that view of yoga is just it's just stretching, or it's that weird people want to go sit in a room and talk about the universe and whatever.
Right.
And I remember the first time I did yoga, it was I really wish I had it on video. It was pitiful. I was probably 5 or 6 weeks into a training block, and I was the tightest that I've ever been, ever. And down to the point to where my quads continuously hurt. They night and day, they ached. And so the gym that I was going to has, free yoga classes or whatever. I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And I went to this yoga class, and there was 8 people in there. It was me, a girl about 23, 24 years old, and then the rest of the women in there were 50, 60 plus. And I was like, this is not my place. I don't know what I'm doing here. 2 minutes into like the first stretch, I'm pouring sweat. Like, I'm sweating bullets, and I'm shaking and cramping, and there's these older women down here that are just staring at me like they need to call a medic in.
Right.
And right then, I was like, okay, I've been wrong about this.
What are you doing, young man? You can't do this. You should try the hot yoga. That's even.
I would like to do that. Yeah. Joe Rogan swears by it.
Yeah.
And there's science behind it. There's science behind the saunas and exposing yourself to, extreme heat for periods of time for recovery and boosting your energy and your health.
Your health, your skin.
Yeah.
All that. Yeah. So detox, all that skin stuff.
We have another question. Bruh XRP asks, he says, I have tennis elbow and I keep pushing through the pain. I'm concerned about the long-term structural damage. How can I mitigate this issue? I have an answer for that if neither one of you want to take it. So
I would say definitely stop pushing through.
Yeah. Yes.
Get
Right
a
away.
medical advice.
Yeah. So I deal with this. I deal with this same thing, and I've been the last 6 months have been the most excruciating months with elbow pain, and my elbow pain is stemming from tennis elbow, from overhead presses, and just overworking the triceps and the forearms continuously. So pushing through that and just using the mindset of, well, if I keep working the muscle, it's gonna strengthen and push.
Right.
It's not gonna work. So what tennis elbow is the tendons that are coming off of the heads of the tricep that wrap around the elbow are actually they're starting to fray. So what has happened is there's been inflammation from overuse of either rotation or your tricep extensions, and that inflammation's caused them to start grinding and fraying. The only thing you can do for that is rest, massage, and anti-inflammatory workers and ice. Ice, and don't make it a ritual, but ibuprofen here and there. But the biggest thing is massage work and rest. Staying off of it until that inflammation leaves. That's not a pain you push through.
Yeah.
No,
go ahead.
Go on, Carnell.
No, I said, then you also start affecting the other parts of your body. You start compensating. Let's say if it's your right, you start compensating with the left. And then you start getting unbalanced with your workouts and causing other injuries. So it's very important that you stop, or you definitely lower the weight that you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Or just go bands. I would go band and then try to rest it and get some medical advice before I continue pushing on. Like I said, I had 2 shoulder surgeries, both shoulders, and just been a hard-head Marine. Take it from me. You don't want to go there.
Absolutely. So, Carnell, what are you training for anything right now, or are you just kind of maintaining? Or
I'm still maintaining. I'm trying to train, but we all on lockdown.
Right.
So I do what I can. I'm still an alternate for this year's Warrior game. It hasn't been canceled yet. We haven't got the official word. It's in September, but still training, still have that competitor mindset, still thinking about my competition, my other competitors. I get up in the morning and I'm thinking about them. What are they doing? What should I be doing? Keeping motivated, staying focused. So I'm always training, even if I'm not in competition mode. I'm always training, always competing with myself. I'm trying to be the best me, that I can be.
What's that looking like right now? Like your day to day?
Oh, my day to day. You should see my house. I have like workout stations in every part of the house. I got bands here. I got a roller ball there. Got weights in the garage. So it's like a kid in a candy store.
You trying to place them around your house so when you walk past them, you remember it and make yourself do it.
There you go. But no, my regular, just like in the Marines, we had a routine. They taught us, a morning routine, evening routine, afternoon routine. So I try to keep a routine when as far as working out. Mornings, I have a morning session. I have an afternoon, and then I have a light evening session.
What about Carnell? So you're training very hard in a week like that. A lot of days you're doing a morning and afternoon session. Why don't you touch on for us the importance of those rest days? What does a rest day look like for you? What are you doing?
With this lockdown, I mean, it's my workout is not as intense if I was out, in my regular surroundings. But a rest day for me would be, I'm a kind of like to soak in the sauna. I don't have a sauna here because I can't get to it, but I take maybe an Epsom bath. I kind of pamper myself on my rest day.
Yeah.
So I just make sure I take care of my body on my rest day. I eat, put proper fluids. I do a lot of stretching on my rest day. And then my rest day is totally no weights at all. It's just taking care of the body and feeding it right and just getting that proper rest.
So that's another day too. I mean, what Carnell said, stretching and stuff, guys use those rest days as an opportunity, to do stretch or, a light, if you like yoga, light yoga flow or stretching, if you're having those tennis elbow problems, use that day and, concentrate on doing self myofascial release on that area and self massage. You can get as much work done fitness wise on a rest day as you can on your training days. So
there you go. Very, very important. Yeah.
For sure. And that's one thing, like if you're training and honestly in any capacity, whether it's just to be stronger, just to keep yourself fit, or you're training for a competition, if you're doing resistance training with barbells, weights, dumbbells, and you're not getting massages, and maybe seeing a chiropractor monthly, you're really holding yourself back, and you're also setting yourself up for an injury at some point down the line. That recovery is everything. Like Carnell said, the Epsom salt baths, that right there, that alone, man, that's how I got through 6 years of track. That's how I got through 4 years of the Marine Corps.
Yeah,
and I still do it now. It's essential. Not only does it relax your muscles and let you recover, that's a mental thing too.
Absolutely. Yeah,
absolutely.
Like I don't know how many times I've gotten 3-4 weeks out from a competition and I just want to quit not because I'm injured or because I'm not strong enough or I'm not like on track with the program, but because I constantly ached so much,
right,
day and night. And the reason that was happening was because I wasn't doing these things that we just talked about. I wasn't doing the massages. At the time I wasn't soaking in the Epsom salt baths or seeing a chiropractor. And, I didn't want to quit because my body couldn't move or it hurt to move. I wanted to quit because my mind was so jacked up from constantly being in pain. It's psychological torture doing that. If you don't take care of yourself in that way, it's very important. We do have another.
Go ahead.
Oh, go for it, Carnell.
No, I know a lot of us are us veterans. Especially if we have pain and we've been through the VA system. We have those TENS unit. The TENS unit is a very good product to use too. I mean, I know Tyler talked about their massages and all that. A lot of us, can't afford that. But if you got a foam roller, you got your TENS unit, and you got that Epsom salt bath, and you're stretching, man, you got a lot. So don't
absolutely add in a tennis ball.
There you go.
Or a lacrosse ball. Yep.
Mm-hmm. There you go. So just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah, for sure.
We've got another question. Joshua asks, I have no workout plan. I just beat myself up. How can a person transition into a routine with not much weight training in the past?
With no equipment, he said.
He's got where are we at here?
Not much.
I don't think he addressed that specifically. So Josh, it sounds like he's not working out with any set plan. He doesn't have really any weight training past, and he needs to get started. It sounds like he needs to get started on a plan, right. Because that's something you can definitely do. Just beat yourself into a ground without a plan too.
Right, yeah. Right. Yeah. I would say just start the basics again. You know, do your. Yeah, you don't need equipment. You can do push-ups. You can do sit-ups. You know, you got anything to pull on? Do some pull-ups. I would say just move. You got a jump rope. Do some jump ropes. Do some crunches. I tell you what, as a young Marine in boot camp, we didn't have much. We had a pull-up bar. We had drill instructors yelling at us, telling us to push faster, faster, faster. And I came out of there the best shape in my life. You know, I added 5 pounds. I mean, who go to boot camp and add 5 pounds? That goes to show you I did so many push-ups, you know, always on the drill instructor bad side. But I would say just stick to the basics and whatever you have, do what you have, do what you can, but do something.
Carnell, can you talk a little bit about the importance of a training log or like a workout journal for a veteran to have? Because this kind of goes in line with that, especially, you know, veterans that don't really have, you know, and even anybody, regardless of the amount of experience you have. I mean, I would never think of training without, you know, writing down my workouts and tracking what I'm doing. Can you talk about a little bit the importance, you know, of a training log for a veteran to have?
Sure. A training log, it's just like a plan. It's keeping you on track. It's keeping you on schedule. It's keeping you accountable. It's reminding you. You know, you might do an exercise, you know, too many times, and you're wondering why your back is hurting, why you're overworking that muscle. So a training log is very important. It can show you it can tell you and show you your improvements. You know, it can tell you where you need to improve in, what areas you're weak in, what areas you're strong in, and what areas you need to work more in. So it's very important to have that training log and that training plan to keep you on schedule. I mean, that's in itself, that's your motivator. You know, I'm in the gym, I'm looking at my log, and it's saying, hey, you need to do 10 more reps of, you know, or whatever. I'm like, man, I got this. I can do this. And that's what it's very important to have. You know, keeping you on track, keeping you motivated.
Yeah.
So, it can also serve as a tracker. You know, as you look back and you can see if you look back through your old training logs, what you've written down, you can see your progression in that.
Right. Absolutely.
Or your progression, your stagnation, or your decline, like
your decline,
which and that's what you need, because without, I mean, that's how the world works. You have to have data, to improve. Otherwise, you don't know if you're working in circles or backwards or whatever. So I mean, there's a high importance, like writing it down or tracking your phone, however you do it, but actually utilizing it, going back, looking at it, and keeping it. It's a big thing.
I call it, that's your receipt. If you don't have that receipt and you try to go back, you know, and try to return something, hey, they're not gonna. Hey, you never had it. You never done it. So that's your receipt. Keep your receipt.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You don't just owe the IRS taxes. You owe yourself taxes.
Exactly.
And those are your forms.
So that was a good question. Who asked that?
Josh? That was Josh Powers.
Oh, okay.
Shout out Josh Powers.
Josh,
I heard you moved out west. Kind of jealous, but kind of upset you're not in North Carolina anymore, because that was a dope place.
Oh man, West is best.
It is. I hope you're doing good, Josh. Hey, we got another question for you, Carnell. We're just going to keep bombarding you with these. So
hey, keep them coming. I try.
30 years in the Marine Corps and training and all kinds of sports. You know something, so we're going to get it out of you.
Not the expert, but know a little bit.
I don't know, maybe. So Jeremy Myers asks. He says, I'm just getting started, I'm just starting to get quarantine fatigue. I feel you.
Right.
He said, but still pushing to compete in strongman this year. Same. How can I do cardio without my knees and my ankles hurt? How can I do cardio without my knees and ankles hurting, but still get it done?
Good question.
That's a tough one.
Unless you got a pool, you got a pool. I would say definitely do waterworks. But that's a good one.
Yeah,
the knees is everything. It holds up the whole body. Wow.
I think
without that's a good one.
He also asked, how can I get my spouse involved in working out? That's right there.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. In my household, it's always competition. I don't care if we're playing ping pong or whatever.
That ain't no lie. Your wife is super competitive.
Yeah, if I'm running, I'm doing something, especially since she's here every day, not going to the office. Yeah, hey, we're gonna get off that computer. We're gonna have some competition. I would say. Definitely, if you have a spouse who's not as active and want to get active, I would start slowly. Maybe a walk. They get used to that. And for example, me and my wife went on a walk the other day. And we did 2.5 miles. And then the next day, she said, "Let's go further." I said, "It's on. Let's go.
It's on. And we're doing it."
Now we're up to like 5.5 miles. So, I would say just start them off slowly. If you have a wife that's, real competitive, maybe she's pushing you, but it's good to get them involved and let them know your world and it's kind of motivate each other, especially during these times. But that running piece, it's pretty hard. The knees is no joke.
Yeah, for the cardio question, so that's my sport. I don't do any other sport. I'm one of those people. I find one thing and I like it and I'm there. So like strongman is all I really ever have in my head. I loathe cardio. I do, and having 2 knee surgeries, dealing with knee pain, that's always on the back of my mind. So I don't like the running thing,
right.
Because I deal with that knee pain, sometimes ankle pain. So what I do is I use that Mark Bell theory of walking.
Right.
You can get a good low intensity steady state cardio workout from a long walk. Not just strolling. You got to power walk. Not like the short guys with the weights in their hand. If that's your thing, whatever. But walking, like Carnell said, swimming. If we don't always have access to a pool, especially right now.
Right.
But my favorite type of cardio that pertains strictly to strongman is pushing cars. If you have a small, like 4-door little car, like Honda or something like that, and just flat surface, 50, 60 foot pushes down and back. And, you don't have to drive hard. You're not really going for a time. So it's not that impactful on the knees. And it's a really great workout.
Pushing the car up. Pushing the car is not that impact on your knees?
Not if you're going for.
If we were your size, it probably would be.
it's all on how you do it. If you're going for a time, it can be. But if you're doing a slow, steady, push,
right,
then it's really not. Running hurts my knees more than that.
Right.
Ever. You can
Some
also do hand cycle, which
right. So some other adaptive things you could do like that. If you have a skier, you could do the skier from a seated position. If you have a battle rope, do the battle rope from a chair and do have the battle rope anchored on the other end. And you could do swings side to side. You can do your overhead slams like that. Yeah. So again, just think of how you can raise if you need to be, if you're in a lot of pain, your knees and ankles, think of what you can do and get your heart rate up from a seated position like that.
Anything low impact, rowing can be a good tool, or the elliptical, low impact exercises. But definitely the pool. Even if you just get in there and you're doing light jogs or you're just walking in the water, is definitely helpful. So when you get that opportunity, what was that, Josh again?
That was Jeremy Myers.
Jeremy Myers.
Yep. Yeah. So we can switch it up real quick to let's talk about eating, nutrition. What's your take on this, Carnell? We got a guy out of Florida. He asks, he'd like to hear about foods and dieting and cheat meals. What is your take on cheat meals and dieting? We'll say day-to-day life. Just we'll call it average healthy person.
Oh man. I'm very blessed to have a good cook in the house. I don't eat too much junk, but I just say cheat meal. I mean, anything in moderation. Anything in moderation. It's okay. As long as you're not overdoing it. I would definitely stick to the healthy side though, whatever you're eating, because that's big in your, in your recovery and in your gains and your losses. But a lot of people don't understand what you eat does help your gains when you're competing. It can give you that energy, or it can give you that non-energy that can tire you out during competition. So it's very important that you try to eat a well-balanced meal when you can. A cheat meal for me is probably a bag of Doritos. I'm a big fan of Doritos.
Yes, sir.
So that's my cheat, and then once in a while, maybe every other week, maybe a flat pizza, thin crust pizza, whatever. But I try to stick to the healthy side much as I can. But moderation. I mean, I know we're inside now, and a lot of times that refrigerator run is more often than most times. Just try to fill that with some healthy stuff when you can. But nutrition is very important.
What do you think about that, Melissa? What's your take on cheat meals?
So my take on cheat meals and what I kind of implement for myself and recommend for other people, it's completely fine and it's good for you mentally to have that break. But here's the key: do it intentionally, and keep it to that meal. So I know that Saturday nights we like to watch a movie with my daughter, and my husband makes pizza that night. I'm not concerned about how much pizza I'm eating, what's going on, but I'm intentionally doing that. It's not the middle of the day on Tuesday and I just decide, I'm going to eat a whole bunch of food. So I think that, if you just kind of look at your nutrition and your cheat meals from an intentional standpoint, take ownership of it, you don't end up feeling guilty afterwards. I've never felt guilty after, a Saturday with my family, But I think some people, they start to feel guilty where they're like, oh, I did really good all week. And then the weekend came, and, we were eating chips and, we baked cookies and then, we went out to eat. And it's like, all right, well, it's okay, but do things intentionally. plan it out. Yeah. It's not every day. It's not all weekend.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. And your cheat meal is your cheat meal is a cheat on the type of food you're eating.
Right.
It's not a cheat on your caloric deficit.
Right.
You still have to stay under that caloric deficit if you're trying to cut or lose weight. You could just eat your happy food.
Right.
But moderation, like Carnell, you hit it on the head. Moderation is everything, man.
Yeah, I find myself too when the longer I stay up, the more I'm eating.
Yeah.
So I gotta have a sleep plan. I'm a sleep plan, or I'm gonna be eating up the whole house. But definitely.
Yeah, and there's
moderation. Yeah.
There's science behind that too. You know, being on a structured eating schedule. You know, it correlates with, you know, your sleep schedule and all that. You know, if you're eating at all random times, it's going to be harder for you to go to sleep and sleep good. So definitely scheduling, or, you know, structuring. I'm going to eat at this time every day, you know, or around about that time.
That time.
You know, and those other times, you're not putting stuff in your face. Like, I need to write this down and read it like every hour. So.
I was just going to say, though, I was just going to say, Tyler, to you know, everybody watching, and I do this myself, put it in your phone, set a reminder.
Yeah.
I get so caught up with stuff during the day. I get stressed out. I'm homeschooling my daughter. I have reminders that go off on my phone during the day every 2 hours, reminding me that, you know, this is the food I need to eat right now. I remind myself, you know, if I'm not drinking, I've got that water, you know, to ding, you know, every half hour, because, you know, life has been stressful, and it's been even more stressful lately. And, you know, like Carnell said, man, if you're going into this without, you know, kind of a plan and without some structure, like all you're doing all day is just, you know, trailing over to that fridge.
Yeah.
You know, so I think get intentional with your day. You know yourself. If you need, you know, how much accountability and structure you need about that around that nutrition and fitness, you know, and it's okay to adapt that to whatever you need individually. You know, if you need to set a reminder on your phone every 20, 30 minutes to drink, set that reminder, you know, 30, 45 minutes before you train that you need a small meal, whatever it is you individually need, you know.
All right.
I've got a question for you, Carnell. It seems there's kind of an ongoing argument in the fitness community, which, like, Mark Bell's on the left side of it, and it seems like everybody else is on the right side of it. What's your take on counting numbers? You know, as far as macros and calories go, how important is that to you, or do you think it's not that important that you should just watch what you're eating and eat sensibly?
I got two sides to that. I think it depends on what you when you're competing, what are you competing for, and yeah, what are you trying to gain?
Yeah.
If you're a runner, you want to keep your calories low. You want a different type of regimen or whatever. But if you're power lifter, maybe your macros may be eat all I can and gain all the weight I need. So I think it's important. I think it's what you're trying to achieve. What is your goals? I always say, eat a healthy meal. I don't get into the counting calories and the macros. I know what's healthy, what my body needs, and what it don't need. And then it depends on the competition or the what I'm doing, what I'm competing for. It's what I'm working to and how I'm working out and what I'm eating. So I'm kind of like the wrong person to really talk about counting. The counts. I just feed the body what it needs. And,
I agree with you on that. I don't count numbers I've done it a couple times, but I try to eat sensibly, you know.
But I'm sorry.
No, go for it, brother.
But I do watch my weight. I think that's important. If I'm working out, if I'm competing for a competition, if my weight is too high, too low, I do adjust my diet accordingly. But I do watch my weight and what I eat. But as far as counting calories, probably the wrong person to really talk about that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're getting close to the end here, and I think we got another question that I would like to hit real quick. It's another one from Josh Powers, and Josh asks, "What if the meds that the VA gives you, and your appetite are not good, no matter how hard you try? Any small things to start out with rather than a big meal?" So what it sounds like to me is the meds that he might be prescribed kill his appetite. What do y'all have any advice on kind of how to combat that?
I've dealt with this a lot.
Okay.
Quite extensively, not from meds, but just different stomach issues. And I think for myself, what has helped, and just with really no appetite at all and that feeling like that, don't try and, gorge out on big meals. It's going to be really difficult to do. I try to stick to very easy foods, like, in the mornings, I eat very plain things like, cream of rice, stuff like that. Just like light things, not heavy, greasy things. Just try to find light foods that you can comfortably get down. Again, thinking about nutritional quality, so just anything to try and kind of spur that appetite. It's an incredibly difficult thing, though. It's an incredibly difficult thing, though. I know when you're trying to, eat to perform, and there's, an issue there. Do you have anything on that, Carnell? Any thoughts?
Definitely want to keep taking your meds if it's helping you. But if it's not, you might want to look at another option that'll get your appetite up. Like Melissa said, you definitely you don't want to overeat. But food is energy. You need food. I would say, if you're not hungry, I would say not eat, but maybe get a weight gainer. If you're losing weight and you're not, feel as full, maybe get that weight gainer where you can gain that weight, and if your appetite is not up to par, you still have that energy and that protein to keep you going for a period of time, so you are able to eat. So
like a good casein protein,
exactly.
Weight gainer shake,
right?
For sure. And before we get out of here, Carnell, let's real quick just talk about the catch lift coaches, and how our veterans can reach out to your coach, and what the coaches are there for as far as support for the veterans.
Yes, to be able to reach out to your coach, you can go on the landing zone, and we all have our profiles located there. It tells you a brief summary of what our specialties are and what we coach in. Don't be afraid to utilize that LZ. I mean, it's a lot of information on there. We're there to, sometimes, athletes just want to talk about things, not necessarily their fitness goals, but everyday life things. We're there for you for that also. Especially during these troubling times. We're in it together. We're here for you. This is not a setback. What we're going through now is for a setup. How we're going to be together when we get out of here. We're going to be stronger as we get through this, and we need each other. So don't be afraid to reach out to us. We're there. Some of us 24/7. We're here for you. Stay in the fight. Keep your head up. Be that soldier, be that Marine that you are. Keep hope. Have faith. And we're going to be all right. We're going to get through this.
I love it.
So, yeah.
Love it. Couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you, Master Guns, for your time today.
Thank you, Carnell.
You're one hell of an asset for the team, and I can't wait to pick your brain more. But as for this episode, that's it for this week, everybody. Next week we'll be back with Catch Lift. Coach's Corner. I believe next week we'll have Sarah Rudder on.
Hoorah.
She's a fireball. She's out there with Carnell Martin. She's another Marine getting it done out there in Southern California. Thank you for watching. Melissa?
Remember, guys, Cal Coach's Corner, it's not a one-way conversation. Keep, tuning in with us. Leave those comments and questions for our guests. We love them. Feel free. You can always email us with a comments or question at coachescorner@catchaliftfun.com. You can also always leave posts on the Facebook page or Catch a Lift's IG. Any of you guys in the chat that want to hang on and talk with us afterwards at the rally point, simply leave your name in that chat box, and we'll send you guys over a link to join the conversation with Carnell, Tyler, and myself.
We'd like to thank...
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, go on. No, I'm good.
Hey, we'd like to thank everybody at the Catch a Lift Fun. Thank you, Lynn, for putting this all together for us and starting this great organization. We would thank our producer, Henry, for being in the background there and running the back end of the show for us. Huge thank you to ID Technologies for their ongoing support of Catch a Lift and everything they do. They are knocking the ball out of the park right now. We have some great stuff in the works coming for our veterans as far as the landing zone goes, and we couldn't be more excited to be partners with them. Above all, we want to thank you for tuning in and supporting Catch a Lift Fun. Until next week, stay Cal strong.
Go Cal.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.